Hey, Facebook. Happy Monday. Sorry we're a little bit late, but we're always a little bit late on Mondays, and it's never my
That's right.
fault because I'm here. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Pam
Well, you can't.
Steak and shake.
Yep. Pam's taking me.
No.
So you're stuck with us.
Yeah, she is stuck in traffic, actually, a big accident Pittsburgh way. So she sends her regards to everybody, but she won't be able to join us for this podcast, but no worries. So,
no worries. We will
answering your listener questions and doing a Friday show totally out of sequence because it's the end of the year. And of course, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve fall on a Monday, our recording day. So sit tight.
That's
We're
right.
going to record a show for this Wednesday and a show for January tonight. So, yeah, that's how it's going to go. And we'll get together. Vicky's always on the first here. Hey, Vicky, thanks for joining us. Let us know where you are tuned in from, and we'll get rolling here in just a second. Remember, you can ask questions in the chat. Just put it in the comments, and we'll answer those. Of course, we got a bunch of questions queued up at Be Our Guest Podcast, or Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. I guess the email is. Howdy, Joey. Howdy, Patrick. Howdy, Dennis.
You don't know your own email address?
I do. Okay. But I forgot what it was for the questions.
Okay.
I believe it's only been 10 years.
I mean, we've done this for a little while.
A few times. And we have our festive wear on, MIZ, the Mizzou Christmas sweater. Yes.
We do.
Yours flashes. Mine doesn't flash. I need to get one that flashes.
I am all kinds of flashy tonight. Woo! Look at me go.
Licky Maka, George. I finally learned how to say it, and I had to look it up to spell it today in an email to George. I had to Google it. Hey, Joey's in Pittsburgh. Stay away from the IKEA. Apparently, there's a big wreck by that one. There's a Steak and Shake in an IKEA. Don't go in that area.
Don't go there. No,
we're trying to find Pam.
We were.
Indiana. Christine's there. I love Fishers, Indiana.
That's right.
Oh, man. They have a Zaxby's and a Chick-fil-A within like 200 yards of each other. I mean, that's beautiful. Hello, Mike out in Salt Lake City, Utah. I really want to go there sometime and go skiing.
Salt Lake City?
Betsy's making us dinner. Thanks, Betsy. I will have enchiladas. Actually, I'm having leftovers tonight from Ruiz.
Ah!
No, because
there you go.
At a Taco Bell. Merry Christmas, Sherry, down in Florida, beautiful Florida. We're trying to look festive, Dennis, where the force is with us.
It is.
Snakehead is here. We love Mike. We're not dedicated. We're just kind of dumb. We try.
It's true.
Minnesota in the house, the home of Prince. James is up there. That's cool. Oh, we look cute, Joey says.
Thank you.
I try to look cute. I did a little makeup.
You look good with your makeup. You didn't do makeup. Don't even pretend like you did.
I need like a filter. Anyway,
you need lots of filters.
I do. Wade called into our live shows. We appreciate that so much. You'll hear him on Friday's podcast. He's up in Nebraska. Richmond, Virginia for Betsy. Boulder, Colorado for Megan. Christine loves the festive wear. Oh, and they have an IQ too, Christine. So I don't know if there's an accident around theirs either. So, and she was at the Indy Disney meet. I remember that. Southampton, UK. George. I love seeing George's post with all his buddies, all the stuff they're having fun doing. I remember the good old days when I used to do that kind of stuff. Now I'm just old, wearing Christmas sweaters and doing podcasts.
It's true.
Let's do this. We're here to do.
All right. I am ready.
Ready. Okay, here we go. Wait, first I got to write down what number this is. What number?
I don't know. What number is it?
It was Monday. Monday was 1421. Today is Monday, so we're gonna do 1422, and I'll figure out the other one later because that's like way out of sequence.
That is way out of sequence.
I'll take algebra to figure out what that show that is. All right. For real, George, and those emails are pretty awesome. They go out automatically from the Magic for Less once we put all the parameters in, but it does help with fast passes and ADRs. We send reminders a few days before. Working on meet Belle and her beast. We'll answer that, Abigail. And happy birthday, Abigail. So we'll get to that in a second. Deerfield Beach, Florida. I'm jealous of Nora and everybody who is in a tropical location. George, Sherry, Nora. Stinks. All right, let's do this. I'm not gonna be mad at you. I love you because you're here, but I'm mad because I'm in a cold place and you're stuck here. Well,
I was just there.
3 weeks from Wednesday, man. I'll be in Florida. Actually, 3 weeks from Tuesday night, I'll be in Florida. God,
I'll be in Florida this weekend. Just rubbing it in. I'll be in Florida on Friday.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 1422 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. I hope that this Wednesday finds you well. If you're like me, you're probably starting. This is where it starts happening. You start to kind of sweat bullets because it's getting to be crunch time. You start adding up and going, because all the news shows, today, tomorrow, they're going to be telling you that Amazon cannot get it there unless you order by like today or tomorrow. So I'm telling you, it is crunch time, because if you don't order online in the next day or two, you are going to have to go to the mall this weekend. And oh my gosh, you talk about my worst nightmare. Ricky knows there's a mall in St. Louis called West County Mall. If you go there this weekend, you are absolutely certifiably crazy.
That's true.
You will not find a parking spot. And if you do, you will park, you will go in, it'll be a madhouse. And then you go to leave the place and you're in a traffic jam like Busch Stadium after the World Series. It is ridiculous. So anyway, we're going to, it's today's show. Hopefully it'll be a distraction for you. If you are out braving the madness, you can take us with you wherever you go. We're on Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn. You download it on your podcatcher, and let's have a good time. Don't elbow anybody. Keep
right.
patience. It's like New Year's Eve at Epcot, but it's not quite as fun when you're shopping. Anyway, so we are going to have a good time answering your listener questions. So Ricky, if you're not watching the video today, I know this is an audio podcast. That's what we do. But I'm telling you, go to youtube.com/BeOurGuestPodcast or the Facebook page. You got to see Ricky, man. She's got flashing ears on. She's got a flashing sweater from, I believe it's Walmart, and it looks like it came from Walmart. It's crazy. I love it. It's festive. Ricky's joining us from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, TouringPlans.com, and the Mouse for Less. What's up, Ricky? Crazy.
I'm all kinds lit up.
You are. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. You make sure you check the video so you get context with that one.
Yes. So it's I figured I might as well get festive. So it's good because I'm gonna need the ears for this weekend, and the sweater for this weekend too. Although it is Florida, so it's not gonna be total like sweater weather down there. But it might get cool at night. So I think I looked at the temperatures, and it's gonna be in the 70s for highs. So I'm okay with that this weekend.
One of my favorite things, and I've said this for years, you've heard me say this time and time again during the holiday season, is that one of the things I love seeing, and I don't even like this product. It's those Corona commercials where they have they whistle "Oh Christmas Tree," and you just see the little stack kind of out on the beach, and then the lights go on the palm tree. I love Christmas lights on palm trees. I think there's nothing more beautiful.
No, that's true. There really is something about Christmas lights on palm trees. It's just. It is. It's peaceful. I guess. I don't know. As someone who loves palm trees, I think that there's something really special about it. So, someday when I move down to Florida, I will have a Christmas tree that's a palm tree. It's absolutely going to happen.
Goals, as Taylor Swift would say. Goals.
Yes. Goals.
No, by the way, Terry says he's got to dim his monitor because we're so festive today. So
I'm still lit up.
Goals. All right, let's get to the first question today. It's from Laurie. She is one of my favorite friends from the Be Our Guest Podcast Lizards, taking on her first dopey here starting 3 weeks from tomorrow. She's already done Goofy, so what's a 5 and a 10K to add on to that, man? That's just called a warm-up. So she's going to be there. It's going to be fun. But we're talking cruising. So here we go. It's her best way to get to Port Canaveral. Hi, Mike, Ricky, and Pam. I just booked an Eastern Caribbean cruise on Disney's Fantasy. The ship will be sailing on February 22nd, 2020. This should be the Princess Weekend, also based on previous dates. My question is, what would be the best transportation to get from Walt Disney World to Port Canaveral after the Princess Half Marathon? Does Walt Disney World offer transportation directly from your resort to the cruise port, or would Uber be the best option? I know we have plenty of time to get to the ship after the race, as I can get finished in just over 3 hours with character stops. I can be back to the resort and showered by checkout time. Not worried about getting onto the ship super early, just a few hours before sailing. I also may be adding a Walt Disney World stay for a few days after the cruise. Well, who doesn't? Mm-hmm. Is there transportation from the cruise port directly to the resort, or do I have to go to the airport, then take Magical Express to the resort? I absolutely love listening to the podcast and being a part of the Be Our Guest Podcast Lizards. Best family anyone can be a part of. Laurie is out in North Canton, Ohio. All right, so Ricky, we've done this many times. So let's talk about just transportation in general. A lot of folks planning Disney cruises. Many folks do stay at Walt Disney World pre and post cruise. We have lots of options. You have private transfers. You have the Walt Disney World, the Disney Cruise Line direct transfers. Talk about the positives and negatives of each. What do you think?
Of well, I think one of the positives of the Walt Disney World transfers themselves is the fact that Disney takes care of it for you. So, I mean, you really don't have to stress or worry about the fact that, oh no, is my, Uber driver or cab driver or whatever going to get lost, or, what you don't have to stress about how much money it's going to cost. You already know because you've already paid that, that kind of thing. So, it really does take the stress out of traveling to the port, I think. Now I've always driven, or I've taken the J Express, so I haven't done the
Whoa, whoa,
transport.
breaking news. Doot, 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 doot. We got to send a big shout out.
We do.
Congratulations to Jay and Melissa.
Yes, we
So,
do.
Jay has 3 girls. He doesn't have much hair right now, but it's going to all be gone in the next couple
That's
of years.
right.
Congratulations.
That's right.
Another beautiful daughter. She's cool.
She's gorgeous. Yes. So yeah, I always take the J Express. But I think that the nice thing about taking like a cab or Uber or car transfer service is that you get to pick the time that you want to choose. So you aren't stuck with Disney's time that they're going to take you to the port. Once you finish with the race, you can head over there and please shower if you can or whatever.
No, I get on planes after marathons and fly home on Southwest. I mean, that's me, but Laurie takes a shower. She's smart.
That's true. I mean, please shower for the rest of us. But yeah, so you really do get there as soon as you possibly can, which is kind of the nice feature of just taking some sort of rideshare service to the port. So it is a little bit cheaper usually. I mean, just keep in mind, rideshare services. The one thing that I forgot about with rideshare services is they only get paid for the one way there. So sometimes they don't really like picking you up. So that's something to keep in mind. If you take a cab or some sort of town car or something like that, they have no choice. They have to come pick you up, and they don't give you negative star ratings. So that's something to keep in mind too.
Because I mean, they accepted the fare, so they shouldn't like dog you out on your rating. I mean, that's
well, that happened to me. So yeah, that happened to me when I stayed in New York. But
so
then again, I was New York. So.
From all my years working in travel here with Cruise Line, and most of my guests, are big Disney fans. So you tend to bookmark it either before, after, or both if you're smart. With a Walt Disney World resort stay, in Laurie's case, I would take the Disney Cruise Line built-in transfers. They're $39 each way. They just went up $4 each way this week. What I would do though is do that because she said the key word she said is she's not worried about being first on the ship.
Right.
The reason I take private transfers is if I want to be the first person on the ship, which I do. That's me. And I like to just be there way early because I'm early for everything. So that's a good reason to take private transfers like a Happy Limo. You can just Google. There's lots of them. They have discount codes out there. You can book those. Piece of cake. Also, when you're traveling with just 1 or 2 people, the Disney Cruise Line transfers make sense financially. Now, what we did when we go to the podcast cruise, we usually go with the Gardeners. There's like 7 or 8 of us. We'll rent kind of like a party bus. And by the time we would pay 8 times the cruise fare, or the Disney Cruise Line ground transfer fare, we can usually get the party bus, even with our gratuity, for about the same cost. It's close. And then we get to roll like rock stars over to Port Canaveral in a party bus. So, I mean, that's kind of what we do because there's so many of us that it makes sense to get a private transfer like a limo or something like that, just for almost the same cost. And it's a lot of fun. But if it's just 1 or 2 people, you're going to give your luggage to Disney. They're going to take care of it. You won't see it again until the stateroom. You don't have to worry about that at the curb like you do with private transfers. So it's a lot easier, and I would take the Disney Cruise Line transfers. And they do take you directly from the port post-cruise to any Walt Disney World resort. You just tell them, right there. So piece of cake. All right, let's get to the next question. We had a question in the live chat, Ricky. Where's the best place to meet Belle and Beast? It's from Abigail, and it was her birthday this past week. Happy birthday to Abigail.
Yeah, so they don't meet together as far as I know, so you do have to meet them in separate locations. The Magic Kingdom is probably the best just because they're both at the Magic Kingdom. You do have to go to dinner at Be Our Guest restaurant though in order to be able to meet the Beast, and he's only available at dinner. If you want to meet Belle, there is Enchanted Tales with Belle, so you can do that, which is the show slash meet and greet opportunity. Or you can head over to Epcot, and she does meet in the France Pavilion. So there's that option too. but they don't meet together typically, unfortunately.
All right, and Chris in the chat, following up with Laurie's thing, says Uber rides from the port will cost more than rides to the port. Port Canaveral imposed a permit fee for the Uber drivers. It sounds like Chris is an Uber driver.
There
If
you
we
go.
don't have that permit, we cannot pick up from the port or face a huge fine. So thanks for that, Chris. We appreciate that.
That helps. Yeah.
Right there on the ground. All right, Stephanie's got a question here in the live chat. Let's get to Stephanie. We appreciate that. She says, I'm traveling alone for marathon weekend for the half marathon. Any suggestions? My running partner had to back out after I already registered. Can I high five a lizard if I see one of you?
Of course.
No, do not high five a lizard. We have germs. No.
Oh, no. Hug lizards. Yes. High five hugs. Yes.
Sweaty hugs are always encouraged. You know what? So this is my first year as well, going down to marathon weekend solo. I've always had the family go because marathon weekend over the past 4 or 5 years has always been adjacent to the Christmas holiday where kids are out of school, mom's out of school. For the most part, you might have to miss a day or two on the end. But, this time I'm going down by myself, and it is kind of a disappointment because I love my favorite part of the course is coming into Epcot, seeing my wife, my daughters, Mallory. Paige is usually running with me. She can't this year because she's working for Mizzou. But, seeing the family at the end is a really special thing for a runner. I'll tell you that. So I'm going to miss out on that. But I'm making up for it with the 1,500 lizards, we have on the team, and a lot of us will be at marathon weekend. So it's all about the team. And I'm also looking forward to just the flexibility of going around, taking a lot of pictures, sharing on social media, having dinners here and there with lizard groups, and just having a good time. So, I wish my family was going, I prefer that, but I'm still just as excited. You just heard me talk about it. I can't wait to be down there here in 3 weeks. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, really, there are so many lizards down there that you're really not alone. So if you are interested at all and if you are worried, the lizards have a marathon weekend actual Facebook group. Go try, if you're not a member of it, go join it. They put together a bunch of different events that dinners and things like that. I'm not sure if any of that's closed right now because they obviously they do have a time when they have a cutoff point just so that they make sure that they know who's going to be there for things and stuff like that. But the lizards are always very welcoming. And, like I said, I've done many a trip all by myself, and I kind of love it because I get to do whatever I want. So I don't have to worry about, somebody else's wants or needs, and I get to be incredibly selfish, which is very nice sometimes. So I think you'll have a blast. You'll enjoy it so much. And like I said, you'll get to see so many lizard friends because there are so many of them out there. Make sure you head to, in the morning of whatever races you're doing, head to the L
bag checker.
Bag check area, because that's where you'll find all the lizards.
Look for the color. Our color. You'll find us, have it on. There's lots. Look for Mike. Mike will be there early. He's like me. Mike and Mike get there early. We don't mess. All right. So I had something else here, and let's get to this question. Cupcake crawl, because I'm kind of in a sweet tooth kind of mood today.
I get it.
From Sherry down in Sugarland, Texas. I mean, listen to that name of that town, Sugarland, Texas. That just sounds.
Love it.
It's like Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Hi, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. My family and I'll be headed to Walt Disney World next November, and I'll be visiting the Magic Kingdom Hollywood Studios and Epcot. We're looking to sample the best cupcakes while we're there, so we're trying to figure out which ones are the best to try. We're definitely planning on the Master's Cupcake at Be Our Guest, in the Rose Gold Cupcake at Sunshine Seasons. We would love some suggestions from the BOGP crew. FYI, we're doing a split stay at the Contemporary and the Polynesian, if you know of any good ones to sample there. Also, any idea if there will be dinner reservations available at Tony's during the Christmas party? I wasn't sure if the new party at Tony's would interfere with that. Thanks, Sherry. All right, so Ricky, I'm not a big cupcake eater. I get the Darth Vader cupcake over and over.
Oh, Express. That's so good.
Dude, it's so good. It's chocolate with soft chocolate on the inside. That's all I need.
It's got peanut butter. There's peanut butter in it too.
And the thing is, I've come to this realization. Okay, so you do the show for a while, and actually today while I was working, I'm helping people plan Disney vacations, and I got a little nostalgia, going in my veins. I pulled up on YouTube on our we got a 55-inch, $200 TV on Black Friday. So I'm loving how big this thing is. It's a cheap TV, but it's so fun to have the big one. I pulled up YouTube on there, and I was watching old planning videos from the 1990s, the ones they would send you on VHS.
Nice.
That was so fun watching the clothes and all the rides that aren't there anymore at attractions like Discovery Island, Disney Institute, stuff like that. But anyway, I was really kind of thinking about how things have changed. And I think one of the things that has really changed, and I think they're marketing this more towards the millennials, are these things like cupcakes. I mean, like she just mentioned, there's a rose gold cupcake at Sunshine Seas. It's like,
Yes.
hello, that's going out to the millennials. Not that I wouldn't eat it. I'll eat any cupcake. I mean, shoot, put it close to me, it'll be, so heads up. But I mean, so what do you think? I mean, of course, this is next November. So these
Right.
are very seasonal and they're very topical. So who knows what will be happening then? But what advice do you give her?
Absolutely. That is kind of the thing about cupcakes at Walt Disney World is they change so frequently because of new trends or, a new chef wants to try something new or something like that. So what's there today may not be there tomorrow. And that's kind of the beauty of the cupcake. But I do know that Contempo Cafe at the Contemporary almost always has really unique cupcakes. So if you're looking for kind of the unique thing, that's where you're going to want to stop for sure. Of course, Mike mentioned the Charlie Carr Cafe with the Darth Vader cupcake. That one's really good. If you want to do, kind of a traditional cupcake, you can go to Sprinkles for their cupcakes at downtown Disney. Wow, I'm going back at Disney Springs. Let's see, where else usually you have. See, I don't feel like the Polynesian has a lot of good cupcakes because usually I'm in the market for a good cupcake there and I can't usually find one. But at the Wilderness Lodge, they do have a really unique cupcake, or they have in the past, that has like a campfire looking thing going on there. So I've gotten that one. I've gotten a s'mores one there too in the past before. All the resorts, most of the resorts, I guess I should say, typically have kind of unique cupcakes. The Starbucks, the Main Street Bakery, they sometimes have a unique cupcake too, as does the Epcot ones. So any of those, the Starbucks at Walt Disney World are going to have the unique cupcakes. But really, for the most part, they change so incredibly frequently that it could be here today and gone tomorrow. So just enjoy. Enjoy what you can find.
Exactly. And did Tony's take reservations during the Christmas party? Because usually a lot of the sit downs don't take reservations.
They do not at Tony's though, because they are having, as far as I know, because they are having that special dinner option or kind of appetizer or dessert option. Because they need the whole restaurant, I think, for that. So I think that they're using the entire restaurant for that part.
Mark liked it, so book it if you're wanting to go there. I would say book it because you can come and get stuff during the party. All right, Megan's got a long one, so I want to get it here in the chat before it scrolls away. It says Megan says, "Oh, I'm running the Princess half. Hey, I am too. Oh, I'm so excited. It won't be so sad leaving after marathon weekend because I'll be back in 6 weeks. Oh, thank you for that birthday present, girls. I love them. Anyway." And we making fast pass reservations soon. We'll be going to Epcot after the race. What time should I try for the Frozen Ever After? So she's running the Princess Half Marathon. I'm just doing little calculations. I would say not before 11.
I think that's about right.
It'll be my first run Disney race, but not my first half. I run 1 hour and 40-ish. Holy cow, she's flying.
Wow, yeah. That's faster than Brian. That's awesome.
158, and I almost killed myself, and that was in St. Charles. Like at mile 12, there's a big old downhill, and I was burning down that hill. Then you had to turn like a 90-degree right. I thought I was going to go into the hay bales. It was ridiculous. I was like, I'm scared. I'm running so fast because I knew I could maybe break 2 hours. I knew I'd never do it again. Anyway, she says she can run a 140 when she's not beating princesses along the way. So I plan to be finished around 7:30 or 7:15. We are staying at Pop Century. My daughter will be with a kids' night out sitter. How much time should I allow to get back after the race and getting back to Epcot? We have a reservation at Akershus at 3:45. We're mostly Scandinavian, so I'm stoked for all the smoked salmon. You go.
Nice.
Would an 11 or 11:30 fast pass be reasonable? Look at that. I was right off.
There you go. You're right there.
Yeah, it's like that thing in Monsters Inc. Like I put up my antenna and I sent them out to Megan. I said 11 o'clock. Right. You got to watch a video today, people. Let's see. I probably should have a fast pass day as Christmas Eve. Alarm is set. Oh, that's mean. Thank you. Your podcast is my favorite for trip planning and hope to meet you at a Run Disney race soon. I will see you at Princess. Oh, man. And I love Akershus. I might have to sneak in. I'm solo that time, too. I love that cold food bar. Oh, so anyway, yeah, you're like golden already.
Yeah.
She said, here's the good news about getting back to Pop Century post race to get the kids and get going. If you're running anywhere under a 2 hour half marathon, you're going to be on the bus quick. It's the people that come
Right?
3 hours. That line is super long to get back to your hotel. You're going to be ahead of like most of the people. So there was when I ran the Star Wars half this past April when I was down for the agent education program, and that was my tail end. I had to catch a flight. I ran a really good time just because I knew I wanted to quickly get to the finish line, get in the front of that line back to Wilderness Lodge, grab my stuff and get an Uber because it was crazy. So there you go. Have fun. I'll see you down there. All right. Next question. It was in the chat. Let me pull it here. Brandon says, going to Walt Disney World for Mardi Gras. They're from Louisiana. Do you know whether the new Mickey attraction in the studios, the old movie ride, will be open by then? Thought.
Brandon, I have some very bad news for you.
I don't know it's bad news. I'm always like, thoughts.
I'm very sorry to tell you it will not be open. Matter of fact, it is not going to be open for the deadline that I was thinking that it was going to hit, which is Memorial Day weekend. So if you're planning a Memorial Day weekend trip, you are not riding that attraction either. So Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway right now is slated to open in the fall of 2019. Again, I've said this before. That means the fall of 2019 at Hollywood Studios, especially if you'll be there at Christmas, is going to be bananas. So just a warning. It's going to be cuckoo cachoo at Hollywood Studios at the end of next year.
Correct. That is the correct answer. All right.
Yes.
Fun down there at Mardi Gras. That's fun. Let's see. Brienne's got a question. She says, where to watch Illuminations after Festival of the Arts concert? Hi, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. My mom and I are huge Disney fans, and I'm surprising her with a trip to Walt Disney World this January. It'll be her first visit in 13 years, and I'd really like to make it special. My question is about the Epcot International Festival of the Arts. We have a Disney on Broadway music series dining package. Good Lord, could that be a longer name? Let's see. What's the acronym for that one? The DOBMSDP reservation on Saturday, January 26th. So we have that reserved seating for the 8:00 concert. 2 questions. On a Saturday in January, how early do you think we should get in line for a decent seat in the reserved area? Our reservations are at 5:30 at Coral Reef. And while I don't want to rush through dinner, we want to make sure we get to the theater early enough to access the reserved area. Okay, we'll stop there and get question 2 in a second. Ricky, what time? So they got a 5:30 dinner, Coral Reef, and then they got to head back for an 8:00 concert. I would just say have dinner and head straight back, right?
Yeah, I think that maybe a half an hour to 45 minutes before the concert, you might want to head over there and get in line. For that concert series, I mean, not that I don't appreciate the concert series because I think it's a fantastic idea, but I don't think that the appeal of Broadway singers is as big as something like, the appeal of
the old the Sounds Like Summer cover band for Bon Jovi.
Oh man. Well, yeah, no, like I don't think that it would have the same appeal as seeing Hanson or Boyz II Men or even John Stamos performing the Kid Light Processional. So
don't believe in the Journey cover band. They rock.
Yes. They did. So did the Stay in Alive band of the Bee Gees, which Brian and you both were so excited about that. Yeah.
65 days a year, Epcot would be sold out. It'd be standing room only.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, so as cool as I think that the concert series is, I don't know that it has the same broad appeal. So I don't think that you're going to have as much trouble getting a good seat. Of course, I think most of the people that are really interested in going to that are going to probably have the dining package already. So that's probably the only people you're going to have to contend with. So, and I think that you'll likely get a decent seat, even if like every other person is in front of you that has the dining package, I still think you're probably going to get a good seat. So
question 2, where's the best place to watch Illuminations after the 8:00 concert? I'm assuming that Illuminations will be starting just as the concert is ending. Is there a good place to watch or in or around the American Gardens Theater? Or where should we zig when the crowd zags? We definitely want to watch Illuminations since it will be ending soon. Thanks for your help and happy holidays. Brienne's in Baltimore. And I would say this, people, get your spots for Illuminations. Think about it. You never had to think about it for the last decade. This is it, man. Get a good spot now. Illuminations is incredible, and you're going to just tear. You're going to miss it after it's gone, people. I love Illuminations. I say just hustle down to Italy. Get a spot on the rail by Italy.
Italy would be good. I've done France before. I think that because that won't be that far to go, or Japan. I mean, obviously, you've got the Torii Gate there, which is a really cool view. But you should have the concert series should end at like between 8:35, 8:45, somewhere around there. So eliminations won't start until 9. So you've got about 15-20 minute grace period.
Tonight we are gathered here around the fire, as thousands have gathered.
But do know you're probably not going to be right up against the railing. So just keep that in mind too. Since you have the 8 o'clock, show for the concert series, you probably won't get right up against the railing.
You want to know what I'm going to miss about eliminations? Get ready. Here it is.
Yes.
Blowing out the candle.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Stephanie's got a question in the chat. Hi, all. I'm so excited to be heading on my Disney moon next month. Congratulations.
Awesome.
I'm looking for an idea for. Wait, she's traveling solo. No, just kidding. That'd be weird. It says, I'm looking for an idea for an ADR the night we get in. I've been stalking the app for California Grill, but haven't been able to snag one yet. But we love to watch the fireworks somewhere. Any ideas? Thanks. Ohana's a tough one to get, but if you get the right table, you can get it from Ohana.
I was gonna say, what is it? Is it Narcoossee's or Citricos? Which one has the fireworks view?
Never eaten at either one of them, but I think it's Narcoossee's.
I think so too. Whichever one of those has the fireworks view, and Disney will put it on their website. So whichever one of those, that's going to be my choice because it's kind of a romantic feel.
But if you can get up to California Grill anytime during the day, you have the right to go up to the platform to watch fireworks that night. So you can do that.
That's true. That's true.
And yeah, I think that's it. All right. Stella's got a question. We're headed to Walt Disney World for New Year's Eve. Help. Caps. Not sure what to do that day. Epcot, Magic Kingdom, or resort suggestions, please. We love you guys. Merry Christmas. Here's our plan. Ricky, should I share what we do on New Year's Eve?
Do you really want to give it away?
I do.
That's kind of what we're here for, right?
That's how we do it. We do it this way with the Foresters, with the Rickies, and with everybody else that we have.
Rickies, because Brian doesn't ever get to come down with her because he's at work. Although, ironically, of course, this year he doesn't have to work on New Year's Eve. Of course, the one year he doesn't, and I can't go down for New Year's Eve. Yeah.
But we've done this the last couple of years, and it's worked out very well. We sleep in on New Year's Eve day. I know, because, we're there for Marathon Weekend after, so we're trying to chill out a little bit. We tend to sleep in on New Year's Eve day, New Year's Eve day, get going around 11 o'clock, 10:30 or 11. We have gone and played miniature golf that day. We have also then gone from the miniature golf place over to the fountain at the Swan or Dolphin, one of those places, and had lunch. Yep. And we kind of leisurely stroll into Epcot in the mid-afternoon. Now, it's beginning to be a nut house at that point. So even at the International Gateway, you will be waiting in line for 20 or 30 minutes to get into Epcot, but that's what we do. Once we're in, we always have an ADR for a sit-down restaurant around 6 o'clock, 5 to 6 o'clock. Last year, we ate at Tefanito. That worked out perfectly. 6 o'clock ADR. A bunch of us got together. We had a great meal, lots of fun. Got out of the restaurant at about 8 o'clock. And then we went around because then you don't have such a long day because you're not wore out. At 8 o'clock, we started going to the UK, did some dancing over there, watched the crazy people in Japan do the silent disco thing. We went to Italy where the fire breather was it China? No, it was China. Dragon. We danced over there. Italy just looked too hip for us. We didn't go back in there, but it looked really.
I ended up going over to Italy. Italy has like lasers and techno music. Yeah.
Way too hip for me. I looked at it from a distance. We did that, and then about 10:30, we got spots for. We watched the first eliminations. Kind of strolled around a little bit more, locked in our spot for the midnight eliminations, and had a good time. So that's kind of the plan. You want to take it easy early in the day, or else you get wore out by. Well, if you're me, you get wore out because I go to bed at 10 o'clock. So.
Yeah, you do.
All right, let's get to the next question, and it is coming from Katie. She says, hi, gang. My mom, sister, 1-year-old daughter, and I will be heading down to Walt Disney World for spring break. We know it's going to be crazy busy, but since my sister and I are both teachers in Michigan, we really don't have many options. Katie, I feel your pain. 17 years I did that. I was able to snag us an ADR for Be Our Guest at 8 o'clock a.m. We would like to get some pictures in front of the castle before it gets super busy and try to ride Mine Train using Rider Switch after breakfast. Any other advantages to having this ADR that we might be missing? Thanks, Katie's in Rockford, Michigan. So Ricky, she's got an 8 a.m. Be Our Guest restaurant. The only disadvantage is trying to get a 1-year-old ready for an 8 o'clock, because that means you got to be out of the hotel room by 6:30 if you're staying on property, probably. But we talked about these early morning ADRs at the Magic Kingdom. Lots of reasons to have it, because, like I said, you get
absolutely. You're ahead of the crowd. You've gotten your breakfast. You get to dine and be our guest, which is awesome. But you do get to be one of the first people in line for Seven Dwarfs, which is, I mean, you know, that if there's any time to ride Seven Dwarfs, that's going to be it, unless you have a fast pass or you wait until the end of the night. So the one thing to keep in mind is to double check to make sure there's not an early morning magic, that special event, hard ticket event that they have, because if there is one of those, they do get to ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train over and over and over again. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. The line might be a little longer. Also, make sure there isn't extra magic hours too that morning. Those, you have to kind of compete against those two things. But you know, Fantasyland is awesome to be able to take advantage of after you've done Be Our Guest, or you can head over after you've done Seven Dwarfs, then I would head over to probably Space Mountain or something like that. Or you can do Peter Pan, because that's a good time to ride Peter Pan with less line too. So, but I like that you have that 8 a.m. Reservation for Be Our Guest. Now, I don't get up for an 8 a.m. reservation for Be Our Guest, but I think it's perfect for you.
I'm worried about the adults, but it's just like getting a 1-year-old out of bed in a strange place,
right?
And, you know, ready to go, because they're just so moody, and then you got to take them on a bus or what have you to get to the Magic Kingdom. So it's fine.
That's true.
But yeah, they're
That's
gonna.
true. But I mean, because they do have the 1-year-old, Fantasyland will be walk on for a lot of things. So, that would really be what I was thinking about staying at, is just stay in Fantasyland and get a lot of that out of the way.
And Nina is just wishing everybody happy holidays from down in Melbourne, Australia, here live in the chat.
Awesome.
Thank you for tuning in down in Australia. That is so amazing. Let's see here. Let's get to the next question. It's about the 4th of July. We're all over the place. We're going New Year's Eve, 4th of July.
We are.
Crazy with the holidays today. Sherry asks, hi, Mike, Ricky, and Pam. My family is planning on going to Disney World over the 4th of July. We've been to Disney several times, but never on the 4th. And we'll be there on the 4th this year. I like to go on the 4th. We've been many.
I'm going to be there on the 4th too. I'm excited. I haven't ever been there for the 4th of July. This is one of the few holidays I haven't done yet. I'm excited.
Oh my gosh, it's like being a Sam Eagle all 24/7. That's one of my favorite Muppets. He is my favorite Muppet, I think.
Yes.
You put a gun in my head, yeah, he's my favorite Muppet.
He's a pretty awesome Muppet.
He's pretty awesome.
Swedish stuff too.
Because and I like the guy goes. When I heard the 12 Days of Christmas, I do his part in the 12 Days of Christmas Muppet song. Yeah. We went to Christmas. I said fireworks, Christmas lights the other night, and that song came on. I was me. Anyway, let's see, where were we? I had too many Cokes today. We're wondering if Epcot or Hollywood Studios have any special fireworks shows for the 4th. We know that Magic Kingdom does, but we would like to avoid taking the bus that night since we're staying at Yacht Club. Thanks for your help, Sherry in Wisconsin. Well, I'll tell you what. Epcot has awesome fireworks on the 4th of July. I mean, ground-shaking fireworks on the 4th of July. They are not to be missed. Staying at Yacht Club, I would go to Epcot. It's big. It's fun. That's what I would do. Hollywood Studios does fireworks on the 4th too, right? Yeah,
not anymore. I mean, they don't do special fireworks. Let's put it that way. They nope.
The 4th, I always look over.
Nope.
Maybe I'm thinking New Year's Eve.
Not special. They don't do special ones anymore on either of those holidays. Ever since they've introduced the Star Wars fireworks, they have stopped doing special fireworks for the holidays. So, it's kind of a bummer. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. But they do have, illuminations. It will be the last year for the 4th of July illuminations. So I'm going illuminations, 100%.
Okay, so here, question. Serious question. This isn't from the chat. This is from Mike Rallman's brain.
Mike Rallman. Okay, got it.
The very last illuminations.
Oh, God.
Blow everything up. Like the globe just explode everything. They have that big old, inferno barge. Do they just blow the smithereens out of the globe and everything and be like, you know what? We're going big one last time. People stand back. Give everybody safety goggles and hard hats. And it's just
my gosh. It would be really great if they did one of the, because I've been there for Epcot's 30th. So it would be really great if they did like that kind of show because I think usually for the anniversary they do the same show. It's a special tag that they have. I really think that they should do that for the last night of Illuminations.
They say, people, we are not going back no matter what you say, because it's kind of like Spectrum Magic. We're breaking
It
the
is.
floats. We're throwing them in the trash. With Illuminations, we're just blowing everything to a billion parts. You can get a piece of Illuminations because it'll probably be raining down from the
It'll
sky.
it'll be raining on your head. It's fine. Yeah.
Because you're getting goggles, you're getting safety goggles and a hard hat on the way in that night. So what you do is you get all your little pieces, you put them in your little fanny pack, and you put them on eBay the next morning. And
That's
everybody,
right.
or you hang them on the wall. You put them in a frame. Like, I think this should be the Earth globe, the big TV.
Ash from Illuminations. I'm surprised people aren't doing that now, to be honest.
I'm telling you, Disney, we have given you such good stuff.
I know. So many good ideas. On the Be Our Guest podcast.
Hashtag blow up Illuminations. There you go. I love Illuminations. I don't want it to go, but I mean, if it's got to go, let's go big.
Let's go big.
Next question, Coronado Tower. It's from Nick. We stayed this fall in Coronado twice. It's a beautiful resort. The renovated rooms are great, and the new tower is huge. I'm wondering how, though, the facilities will handle the increased number of guests, especially the pools. Do y'all know if there's going to be a new pool or an expansion of the existing main pool? Nick is in Gallatin, Tennessee. All right, so you know what? I'm excited. I'm staying at Coronado in February for Princess. That's where I'm going to stay. Scott's going to be down there. It's going to be fun. I just love this place. Good food, a great restaurant. I mean, just a great place to eat. It's beautiful. It's got a great location. I love Coronado. Ricky, I know that the main pool just came out of a refurb. I mean, just in the last couple of weeks. They're not adding new pools, but here's the thing. I'm guessing. Okay, of course they're adding a lot of rooms, but do conventioneers, which is what they're gearing towards, I think, with mostly. Right. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of Disney fans in there too. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, do conventioneers hit the pools and stuff like that? I think they're more likely to hit places like the fitness club, which is kind of small. It's nice, but it's small there.
Mm-hmm. You know, I was thinking about the fact that they did take down some of the rooms as well. So they did reduce, in a way, they reduced inventory, but then they're going to increase it. But it's not going to increase, double. It's just going to increase a little bit. So I think that you're right, especially because they are appealing to the conventioneer, side of things. I don't think it's going to increase the pool volume that terribly much. And let's be honest, most of the time people are in the parks anyway. So I think the pool will be just fine.
Yeah, that's true, and it's a good that resort just has, and it has it has pools in different sections. The Casitas pool is very nice. It's not large, but it's very, very nice. But the feature pool is really cool with the pyramid stuff.
I mean, if you're just wanting to sit by the pool, I mean, they have options for you with the smaller pools.
Yep. It's got a great hot tub too at the feature pool right next to Siesta's pool bar. Oh, you can get hot Mexican food there. Oh, and margaritas. Okay, Princess. I'm ready for Princess. Get Marathon out of the way. I'm staying at Riverside, though. That'll be fun for Marathon. All right, last question of the day. New Year's Eve buffet at Epcot. It's from
Okay.
We are doing New Year's Eve in Epcot for the first time this year, and we are very excited. We booked the New Year's Eve buffet in the World Showplace Pavilion, but I haven't been able to find much information about what to expect. Do you guys have any experience with the special event dining option? Menu looks good and photo opportunities might be fun, but I can't seem to find any reviews, which seems odd given you can find a review of just about anything in Disney World these days. Thanks for the help, Ashley. Now, I don't know about this. Maybe you do, Ricky, but I can tell you, I have been. Don't get mad at me, Ricky. Okay, cover your ears. I went to a media event a few years ago, and
I'm mad at you already. Yeah,
it was when I can't remember what they were bringing on that year. It was Awaken Summer.
I already dislike you, so you're fine.
Animal Kingdom night stuff is kind of what they brought us down for. But anyway, they had stuff going on. We had a big event in the World Showplace. First of all, that thing is huge, and it's really cool for they had little stations set up where you could go around and sample stuff. They said it was just like Party for the Senses, which I never did. But it was really neat because it lent itself. It was very, tables and the little buffet sections. And then they had characters all around the perimeter of the building. So I would imagine that's kind of what it's going to be like. And it was awesome. So Ricky, what do you think? I mean, I loved it. I thought it was really neat. That place is cool.
So the reason why you haven't heard a lot about it is because it is kind of a special thing. They only do it on New Year's Eve, and that's because it's extra capacity for the park. I mean, just like we were talking about the fact that, you know, you need to make sure you have a reservation for dining for New Year's Eve. The restaurants, because the park is so crowded, they can only hold so many people, and you know, people get hungry and they want to eat. So this is just an additional spot for people to go eat. It really is kind of a convention space, like Mike said. They really do use it for special events, conventions, that kind of thing. So it is definitely going to be more of a convention type food, if you kind of understand what I'm saying. I mean, obviously it's Disney, so they'll plus it up a little bit, but you know, it's going to be a little more along those lines. But you're right, there's not a lot of information about it, and that's just because I don't think a lot of people actually have experienced it. I know we haven't experienced it. And it's just because it really is only offered one night a year. I mean, actually one night a year. So, and I think that they've only started offering it only in the past year or two. So it's kind of a relatively new thing as well. I could be wrong about that though, and people will message me. I've been going for years, and I you know, but it seems like it's a semi newer thing. So that's probably why you haven't heard a lot about it.
And I think you need to do the secret handshake to get in over there. You got to go like this. You got to go droop, 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 droop. So
yeah, exactly.
All right, we're going to do one bonus question because Natalie's here in the chat as we're getting ready to get out of here on a Wednesday. She says, when booking Fast Passes 60 days out, are you able to book 3 Tier 1 rides for each day or no? My 60-day mark is Christmas morning. Oh, my goodness.
Yikes.
Bad planning. Just kidding. Not a great trip, but man, that's a rough one on Christmas morning. You have to book Fast Passes. So, Ricky, what about that? You can't do 3 Tier 1s.
You cannot. So for parks that have tiering, you cannot do 3 attractions in the same tier. So for example, at Epcot, you know, you can't choose Frozen Ever After and Test Track, and Soarin'. You can only do one of those 3. And then at it's Animal Kingdom, you can only choose one of the Avatar attractions, the Pandora attractions, and then at Hollywood Studios, you can only choose one of the Toy Story attractions. Now, say for example, you don't want to ride anything in Pandora. So then you can there's that tier 2 in that category. You can choose any of the tier 2 attractions in that category. So you don't have to choose, you know, one of the attractions in Pandora if that just doesn't interest you at all. But you know, that's kind of the thing is unfortunately, if you do choose one attraction in that top tier, you do have to make the fast passes for the tier 2 attractions after that. The good thing is that Magic Kingdom doesn't have any tiering, so you can choose whatever you want at that park. That makes it a lot easier.
It makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
You don't think, you just pick what you want to ride. It's great.
Yes.
All right.
Maybe someday the other parks will be there, but maybe. Yeah.
Doubtful. All right. So that's going to do it for today's show. Don't forget, we are brought to you today by virtualmickey.com, home of great apps like Theme Park News, Disney Edition. So we've talked about a lot of holidays, a lot of fun foods, a lot of, cruise stuff. Today's been a great show. Thanks for the great questions and joining us live in the chat. But Ricky, what are we reading about if you just need more Disney today on your Apple device right now?
Well, we kind of talked about a little bit about this, and that is the Epcot Festival of the Arts. The menus are out for all of the food studios, and the really great thing about the food studios is the food is kind of like works of art because it is a festival of artistic ability, and so you know, food can be artistic as well. So they really kind of make the food pieces look very beautiful, like you don't want to eat them kind of situation. So there are a number of booths that you can stop at. It's just kind of like Food and Wine or Flower and Garden with the many different booths that they have. And they have tons of different great items like deconstructed BLT with crispy pork bacon, tomato jam, and soft poached. Oh my gosh, that sounds so good. There's the artist palette.
Mexican food here in about an hour.
I know. There's the artist palette jumbo chocolate chip cookie, which is a cookie that looks like it has like icing that makes it look like it's a paint palette. There's the red wine braised short rib, which sounds amazing as well. There's the sipping chocolate flight that they have, beef Wellington. I mean, these are definitely a little more higher caliber dishes, it feels like. So it's a great event and lots of great food. So if you want to find out all the different food items that they're going to have at this year's Festival of the Arts, go check out the Mouse for Less. We have all the menus up there so you can kind of see and plan out your day, because we have pictures of some of the food items too from things that have been there for the past years. So it all looks so good, and I really have to figure out how I'm going to get down there for this event this year. Got to figure it out.
Well, don't forget to get all this great news, the Theme Park News Disney Edition. It's a great app for your Apple device. Check it out over at virtualmickey.com. All right, it's crunch time. Please support us on Amazon this week. It's Amazon. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. You get all your Prime benefits, free shipping on most items right now at Amazon. So if you're doing that shopping online anyway, please help support the show. Show us some love. So again, it's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Give us a follow on social media. We want to hear from you, and use the hashtag #blowupilluminations this week. And people are wondering what you're talking about. But give us a follow. We're at beourguestpod and at beourguestmike on both Instagram and Twitter. And of course, facebook.com/beourguestpodcast and youtube.com, which you got to check out Ricky's attire today. youtube.com/beourguestpodcast. All right. So Friday, let me just tell you about the next couple of Fridays. Of course, we have the holidays coming up fast and furious. So we've got two special shows for you the next couple of Fridays. This Friday is a pre-recorded show where we talk about holiday traditions from the Be Our Guest podcast family. So we took your calls and had lots of folks calling in. Mike Bankhead calls in. I'm just telling you, fireworks under a carport. We get a story about that. We hear about jambalaya. I don't know if I'm saying that right. On Christmas Day in Nebraska. Wade talks.
Nice.
I mean, I'm telling you, this is a great show to take over the river and through the woods as you're traveling to your destination for Christmas, or over the weekend as you're doing some last minute shopping. And then, of course, Monday is Christmas Eve. So we'll have, of course, the tradition. It's Christmas Eve in the Be Our Guest podcast.
It is 10 years of us doing this dumb show, but y'all like it so much we keep doing it.
My daughter Mallory's like, you have to have the show to listen to on the way to Mama's house. So that's what we do. So that'll be Monday's show. Of course, next Wednesday, more listener questions. Then that following Friday, we're getting everybody excited for Marathon Weekend 2019. We did a live call-in show. We took questions, things we're excited for Marathon Weekend. It's a fun one. So we're going to have some fun podcasts. We're going to hear a lot of new voices over the next couple of weeks. We, hope you appreciate it. We try to do some things a little bit differently just to change things up and keep things from being stale at the end of the year. So stick with us through all this stuff. And then in the new year, we'll be back kind of to the normal, typical shows. But I hope you enjoy those. We really appreciate you being a part of the show over the past year. And of course, almost 11 years now come March. So we just thank you. We hope you're having a great holiday season. So we're going to be back again on Friday with that call-in show. And of course, Monday, Christmas Eve in the Be Our Guest podcast studios. So for Ricky and Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to head back to work. And we'll see you real soon. That was a good one. All right. Good job.
Yes.
Facebook folks. Let me save that real quick.
Y'all are awesome with the questions, I gotta say. You can make me put my thinking cap on. I mean, I know I already have the ears, so the cap's got to sit over the ears.
We're like really like topical, and they're kind of all over the place too. That was good.
They are.
All right, so we can do the fourth show. Show fourth.
We are, and I've got the list of kind of some of the newer things, or things that we can talk about.
Let me figure out what number that's going to be. So it's 21, 22. 23 is already recorded. 24 will be the Eve show. 25 will be questions next week. 26 is already recorded for that Friday. 27 will be New Year's Eve. I'll do a trip report show for that one. 28 will be questions. So this will be 1429. 1429. So we're reflecting on 2018 is what we're doing?
Correct. And if you guys in the chat have something that you want us to mention that, happened in 2018, let me know and we can bring that up too.
All right. You have the con for just 1 second. I
have what now?
Oh, it says Mike Roman too, because you're on my Facebook account. Hang on. Hide solo. I'll be right back. I just have to visit the facilities real quick. Be back.
This is Mike's way of saying he has to go potty. All right. So if you guys you like my ears, they're hypnotizing. I like it. The shirt's hypnotizing too, but you can't see it as much. So yeah, it's It's totally hypnotizing. I just can't sit up any taller because I'm short. Hang on, I'll pull it down a little bit so that way maybe you can see it a little better. There we go. But yeah, so if you guys have anything that you want me to talk about, or us to talk about, I guess I should say, that happened in 2018, just like I said, put it in the comments too, and we'll be sure to bring that up, because 2018 has been an interesting year, and 2019 is going to be bonkers bananas. I'm just telling you, seriously. 2019 is going to be ridiculous at Walt Disney World. So, Sarah, yes, I did not have that on my list, but I can absolutely add that to the list. 100%. That is definitely a big thing that happened in 2018. So, thanks, Alfred. I like it too. So,
yours on.
You got it. You got it. You're looking good, Mike. You're looking good. Got it. Oh, no, there I have a cat, by the way, George. He's laying next to me, so he's sleeping. The other cat was just rubbing his foot on, or his face on my foot. So so
Alfred loves my shirt.
No, it's my shirt.
No,
you were gone.
I see.
Nobody likes that shirt. Nobody likes that shirt.
Gotta make sure you get it. Boom.
Yes, nobody likes that.
Yep, parking. Talk about that.
Yes.
That's good. We'll talk
I've got
about
a list.
Start with that one. Okay.
I've got a list.
Okay, I'll let you pull it up, but I want to talk about parking, so make sure you bring it up.
Well, I've got that on the list.
Okay, good. All right, so for the 4th, holy cow, this is like way into, who knows what happened between here and there. All kinds of stuff will happen.
I know. Yes.
Okay, here we go. So 1429. It's like, man, I'm
what up?
Cat. Okay.
I know.
It's the 4th of January. Okay.
It's January. Maybe I should take off the ears now because it's the 4th of January.
Everybody's watching this.
Sure they are.
I mean, not the 4th of January though, because they're so spread out. They're watching this week if they're watching it. I don't know. Here, it's audio. Here we go. So 1429. Welcome to episode 1429 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel, settling in here for the first Friday of 2019. So let's nothing better to do the first weekend of 2019 than to reflect back on what a fun year it was down at Walt Disney World in 2018. And I want to lead off here by saying safe travels to all the lizards who are heading down to Walt Disney World here in the next few days for Marathon Weekend 2019. We've made it. It's the taper. And we're going to be smoking those courses on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next week. And we're going to have so much fun. So look out. Lizards are heading to Florida. We're going to have a great time. So today, again, reflecting back on 2018, talking about the news that was. And of course, we have the newsbreaker herself, Ricky from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, touringplans.com, and the Mouse for Less. And many times in 2018, Disney would announce something. Ricky would be out to eat or at the mall and be like, yes. Disney, I got to go home and write a blog post. So how's it going, Ricky?
It's true. I can tell you that there are many times where I have written a blog post on my phone while I've been out doing something. So it has happened.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It has happened. Matter of fact, last year when they did D23, which of course this year we're going to have another D23, and is it in August again this year? I think it is. So yeah, so this year we're gonna have another D23, but last year at D23, or the year before, I guess I should say, because we did not record this in 2018. So I was actually at Walt Disney World, and I was at Animal Kingdom, and I was listening to the announcements at Satuli Canteen, and then writing all the announcements articles for touring plans on my phone while I was waiting in line for attractions. So I bring you the news no matter what, right? Yes, bring you the news no matter what. So anyway, but this year, now that we are in 2019, is going to be huge. I mean, there's just this little thing It's called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge that I think may be opening at the end of the year at Walt Disney World. So, I think we're going to have a lot to talk about this year as far as news and stuff like that. But this year, and you've got Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, the end of Illuminations this year too. So, there's a lot of things that are coming for 2019. That's going to be bananas. And then moving forward, I mean, it's just going to be one thing after the other. So it's crazy. Yeah,
I know.
It's crazy.
See what I did there? Get it? Star Wars. I know. I'm Han Solo.
That's good
I was
for you.
I'm talking. I know, because of the galaxy. Anyway, so I know it's a long way to go for a stupid joke.
That was a long way for it to go for a dumb joke. Yes.
Let's reflect back on 2018. So many things happened in 2018. Let's kind of put the close the book on 2018. 2019 is going to be exciting. We'll be talking about that here in the next week.
Right.
Pam. So one of the things I want to talk about, I know you made a list, but I want to talk about just a couple things that pop up. And Terry mentioned this in the live chat as we're recording. The parking fees that came to Walt Disney World. There's really no positives to that. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I'm a Disney, I'm a fan of Disney. I love it. I'm a homer for Disney. And I understand lots of other hotel chains do charge. I hate that they did this, but they are, they're charging for parking now, nightly parking fee. But I will say, I think, and I want to ask you this, Ricky, this is why I want to bring this up. Do you think this changed, really people's habits as to how they vacation at Walt Disney World? For example, when I first started flying back a few years ago, we rented a car the first couple times. Then we kind of discovered Uber, and I really like Uber because it's easy. It's kind of on demand. You don't have to park a car. You get dropped off right at the resort. Right. But I will not rent a car now because, I'm not paying to have that car sit. And I mean, I just wonder if like the car rental agencies in Orlando are seeing a hit because of this. I mean, because Walt Disney World is probably their main destination. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, while I think it's their main destination, I think that not as many people that rented cars were staying on property. I think if you have a rental car, for the most part, you're probably staying off property. So I don't know that it's hit the rental car industry that drastically, but I do. I mean, there's no way around it. This is awful. This stinks. This is, I don't know why. I know why they wanted to do it. It's all about money, and I get it, but it's one of those things where it's like, really, you didn't need to do this. You can come up with money other ways. And, because clearly 2018, is the year of the upcharge event too. I think we had this as one of the things a couple of years ago or a year ago or something like that, of the year of the upcharge event. And they've seemed to come up with more of them this year. But, I feel like there are lots of other ways that you can kind of get money, and it just seems cheap to me. It just seems like a cheap shot. So, and yeah, you're right. I know a lot of other hotel chains charge for that, but that's what made Disney different. It was the Disney difference, is that, you did not have to pay a parking fee. So it's a huge bummer to me. And, as someone who always has a car, because I do drive, I hate it. I think it's awful that I'm being penalized because I'm driving. It's terrible. But
I mean, if you're staying at a deluxe resort, think about it. Like, and you're staying for like 7 or 8 or 9 nights, and you have a car. I mean, that's almost like one of your plane tickets, for one person.
Or yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. It's not cheap. 7-8 nights of a deluxe resort parking fee. But
all right, let's don't dwell on the negative.
Yeah.
So what else you got on your list you want to talk about here from 2018?
Well, I mean, I think that we have to start with kind of the biggest thing that happened in 2018, and that's the debut of Toy Story Land. Disney's Hollywood Studios had been for so long, and it's getting out of it, and it will definitely get out of it this year. But it had been a half-day park. I mean, plain and simple. It just there were shows that you could take in, and if you hadn't been to Walt Disney World in a while, you could definitely get a full day out of Disney's Hollywood Studios. But for the most part, it was drastically reduced, the number of attractions that you could do. And adding Toy Story Land has added obviously a couple of attractions. It's added some family friendly attractions, which the park didn't necessarily have as many of. Slinky Dog Dash is seriously so much fun. I did not think I would get that much of enjoyment out of that attraction, but seriously, it is a blast. I love that attraction. And Alien Swirling Saucers is a lot of fun too. And of course, you've got Toy Story Mania, which, has the new entrance and stuff like that. And you got the delicious food of Woody's Lunchbox. I'm still surprised as of today that they are still offering breakfast. Not gonna lie, I thought for sure that would get cut. Of course, now that I've said that, bye breakfast. But I think that while it's a small land and it has a few flaws to it, it's still a great addition to Hollywood Studios because it does offer something that wasn't necessarily there before, and that's a spot for kind of families to go and enjoy the day and just have kind of a little bit of fun.
Yeah, looking back on my final thoughts on Toy Story Land now that I've experienced a lot over 2018 is that Slinky Dog coaster exceeded my expectations by a lot. I mean, it's just a lot of fun and it's very creative and it's very visual. It fits the land perfect. The kinetic motion of everything. It's a home run.
And that's something that Hollywood Studios didn't have a lot of either, was kinetic motion. I mean, all the other parks had kinetic.
Yeah.
Suppose
see it, you hear it, the roller coaster talks. I mean, it's like,
it does.
This is going around the tracks. That's a very, very cool, fits perfectly. Alien Swirling Saucers, it kind of didn't meet my expectation just a little bit. And I understand that not every attraction is going to be an e-ticket attraction. I don't want every attraction to be an e-ticket because you got to have major, minor, you got to kind of fill in and kind of have a buffet of things to do. It's okay, but it's not something I need to do every ride. And one of the things that I think was a unexpected byproduct of the success of those two attractions is that you can now ride Toy Story Midway Mania with significantly decreased waits. You don't have to wait so long, so that's kind of cool. And they have the third track. So and
that's
the
true.
It's cool to be in. It's a nice layer. And I think once Galaxy's Edge opens here in the new year, at the end of this year, that when it's not the new hotness, it's going to be more enjoyable because things will kind of thin out a little. I think that'll be better.
Oh, 100%. I mean, everybody's going to be in Galaxy's Edge, at the end of this year. So, yes, I think once that hits Toy Story and Toy Story Land will kind of even out a little bit. And of course, then you've got Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which will open in the fall of this year as well. So that'll take even, again, another chunk of people that are headed to Toy Story Land too. So again, I think that the land is a nice addition. Is it the best thing since sliced bread? Nah, probably not. But I think it's a good addition for Hollywood Studios, and I think it was a necessary addition for Hollywood Studios.
Absolutely.
And plus, anything food wise, for counter service is better than what they had there before.
Very much. So I feel like I should be playing "Reminiscing" by Little River Band today, but Scott will appreciate that. All right. So what else happened in 2018?
Well, the big thing is I think 2018 was a year of change. We didn't have a lot of grand openings this year, but we saw a lot of things kind of leaving, getting ready for the future, that kind of thing. And, we saw an attraction that's been around for forever in like the Circle of Life closing. I know that that's not an attraction that many people are like, you know what, that attraction was great, except for my husband, who absolutely loved that attraction for some unknown reason. But the fact that the Circle of Life closed in Epcot's the Land Pavilion, it's still kind of indicative of the fact that we had a lot of closures this year. And things to get ready for the future. Now, granted, they don't have anything announced for that space as of right now. Maybe they will in the future, especially with the new Lion King coming out this year. Maybe they'll put in an updated version of Circle of Life and have the live action, and I use that term in quotes, be kind of the idea. It's not really live action, but everybody's calling it a live action version of the movie, so whatever.
No, I agree. I mean, things like that go away, and I mean, they're getting us ready for Illuminations. Swan Song here in the next 6 months.
That's right. And another swan song kind of that we had is Rafiki's Planet Watch. Now, they say, oh yeah, it's coming back, whatever, but I haven't heard anything. I mean, it might have came back with the holiday season, but it's one of those things where Rafiki's is another spot where it's prime for a refurbishment. It's prime for some love and that kind of thing, and yet right now it's sitting there kind of just unused. So it was a great little area. You could go pet goats, which is kind of fun, but it was hard to get to. I've only been out there once in my entire Disney fandom, so that tells you even someone like me doesn't get out there very often. But it was still a unique place because you got to see the surgery center type thing. So it's a unique place, and I'm curious to see what they'll do with that space in the future too.
I think that is the problem with Rafiki's Planet Watch. Everybody that went back there said it was so cool because you got to get hands-on with some animals. You got to see, you could catch maybe a procedure being done on an animal in like the vet little, open area there. I mean, it was a great idea, but it's exactly what you just said. It was there for a decade, and I probably went back 2 or 3 times. And I love the train to go back there. The train was like a really hidden gem of Animal Kingdom. And but it was so far out of the way that I just never went back there. But like I'll miss it. But and the thing is too, when you think about the what do they call the like accountants? What do you call them? The penny pinchers or the
bean counters?
I was like peanut. No, that's not peanut.
No, but, not it.
I was trying to think of the right legume or whatever. But so I'm sure that's a big expense taking care of live animals. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to do that a lot with Animal Kingdom Resort, the lodge, and stuff like that. But I would imagine that's one of the more costly areas to maintain, and it probably doesn't have much return on investment. So I can see
probably true. So we also got, speaking of Animal Kingdom, we got a new show, sort of revamped show with the Up a Great Bird Adventure. Now I still haven't seen it yet. I'm hoping to get to see it here soon. But they've added some characters to the show that was there before. They didn't change the show terribly much, just kind of added a little bit of a character storyline to it with Russell and Doug from the movie Up. But that was again kind of a minor change that happened this year, but it kind of just refreshed something that had been in the park for so long. Again, it was kind of an opening day attraction, and after 20 years, I think it's time to kind of maybe zhuzh it up a little bit, add some fun, add some uniqueness to it. So I think it was time for some changes too.
That is one of the few things, and there's not very many things left anymore that I have not done at Walt Disney World ever. I've never done.
Is that one of them?
Cruise a Flight or whatever it's called. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you like the upgrades? I think it just reminds me of Grant's Farm here in St. Louis. I mean, it looks like there. Does a parrot ride a little bicycle across a rope?
No, it does not ride a little bicycle across. So you're out of luck on that one.
You don't have a parrot riding a bicycle. You don't have anything. Come on.
Sorry, Mike. They do it a little more of the natural tendencies of birds, not the
parrots can ride bicycles in the wild. You don't know that. It could happen somewhere in South America somewhere. They ride bicycles.
Using bicycles in the wild. I'm just gonna ask that question right now. And listeners, if you've seen a parrot riding a bicycle in the wild, please tweet at me at Ricky Nibs so I have proof that
maybe the next Disney nature film. Watch.
Oh my goodness! Oh, there's going to be a new Disney nature film this year, by the way. Kind of tying that in, yeah.
Look interesting. Never go. I don't go to movies.
No, I know. Me neither. I've never seen a single Disney nature film. I'm a terrible human being, so that's okay. Another big change we had and this is really for 2019, but it was kind of announced, in 2018, and that's the big ticket change that we had moving forward. And I know that you've had to deal with it a lot, Mike, so I'm sure you have your own opinions about this ticket change.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the thing is, here's what I think Disney is going for. This is just me reading the tea leaves, and I'm probably totally wrong because I'm just a Disney fan. And I work in the industry, obviously, but I mean, I'm just talking about like what I see is that I think Disney long-term doesn't want people buying annual passes for like a 10-day trip, because I think that they're going to price those so that they want to push people to Magic Your Way tickets that expire rather quickly. Because when you think about when you buy Magic Your Way tickets, the biggest cost and the biggest profit to Disney is on those first few initial days. Of course, when you get to days 7, 8, 9, 10 on a Magic Your Way ticket, you're talking dollars for a day of fun in the parks, which is, because they want to keep you on property for 10 days because they're getting your hotel, they're getting your food for 10 days. I mean, that's what they want to do. But I think that, they're going to want to push people towards, buying tickets and having separate packages. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if, you got to, again, they're just making it harder to calculate out where the breaking point is and how to, Disney wants to make as much money on every person on every trip that they can. But I think, an informed consumer like listens to our podcast, an informed traveler, they're making it harder because you got to look and see, okay, these days have that variable pricing, this day is a $98 day ticket, and this day is $112, and it's like the math's harder, but I think, folks in our audience are figuring it out, but Disney wants to make it a little bit more, they want to pinch a little bit more money out of us, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Again, this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. It kind of goes along with the parking fees of, and especially with, Galaxy's Edge opening at the end of the year. This is their big cash cow. This is where they are going to make their money. I mean, I guaranteed. I'm still picturing how long the wait is going to be to get into Galaxy's Edge at the, once it finally does open. It's gonna, again, like I keep saying, it's gonna be bananas. So, the more they can do to get ready to get the most amount of money that they're going to get for when Galaxy's Edge actually opens, they're going to do what they can to do that. And I think that by changing the ticket pricing structure the way they have, they'll be able to do that. And then of course, then once it actually does open, then they'll come up with another price increase, at the end of the year, because that's when Galaxy's Edge is opening, and then they can, jack up the prices for.
But I will say, in Disney's defense, with the variable ticket pricing, where each day costs more or less, this is something that, sporting teams have been doing for years and years, and it's really successful because you can look at it two ways. Okay, like when I go to a Cardinals game, they're pretty high demand. We almost sell out every day, every game at the Cardinals here in St. Louis. They are our big thing. Right. They're like our cities. We're proud of them. But the thing is, you can always get good deals if you're flexible. Like if you want to go see a game against, say, the Florida Marlins or the Miami Marlins, you can go for extremely cheap, and you can still have a great time at the ballpark. But if the Yankees come into town or the Red Sox, in an interleague game, you're going to pay through the nose just because it's supply and demand. And that's kind of what Disney's done. And, hey, whatever. So, I mean, if you can, if you're lucky enough to go in mid-February or, September right after Labor Day, you're going to go cheaper, but most people are going to pay a little bit more.
Absolutely. That's exactly kind of how it is. So, all right. Moving along, we had kind of a unique thing that kind of debuted this year, and that is, I know we've both played with it. That's the Disney Play app that they introduced kind of in the middle of the summer. This is again, another way I think that they're getting ready for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, because I've heard that they're going to use this app as the, because we've talked about this as the way to kind of track how you're doing. You said, I don't want somebody to affect how I've done on the attraction. Well, yes. I think this is the way it's going to happen. So if you do ride on, if Smuggler's Run, and you are with people who are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, you maybe won't be penalized as much because you're doing well, but they may not be. So if you use the Disney Play app with this, then maybe, if you've done well, then you still get the kudos for it. So that's a good thing. But the Disney Play app is kind of a game, special games that you can play while you're in line for attractions. Soarin' is the one I know we got addicted to using the app for, because they used to have the game that you could play, on the screens, and now they've kind of integrated it into your phone, and it's a lot of fun to kind of play the trivia that they have for the Soarin', the game that they have there, and they just keep adding games as time goes on, and I had really a lot of fun with the app. I don't know about you, Mike.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're doing this, because with software, it can grow and change, right there on your device. You don't have to go pick up anything hardware-wise. I like that. It can be very flexible. I will say my favorite part of the app was the music that was tied in with Apple Music. You could get, if you were in Liberty Square, you could hear the songs from the attractions around there, Tomorrowland, what have you. That was an unexpected surprise. Disney's kind of hid the music away, and they made it very public for us, which was something I never thought would happen, and I appreciate, because I think that that's a great way to connect with your memories is through the music that you heard on the attractions or in the areas. So I like that. I will say that I will sneak a taser into the park. And if I'm riding with somebody who screws up on Smuggler's Run in the Millennium Falcon, I will tase you, bro. So just.
If theirs doesn't impact what you're doing, I mean, then I think that.
But I'm saying if it does impact my ride, I'm going to impact your enjoyment of the rest of your day. Just be like,
I really think it's going to be you and how you handle it impacts your experience.
If it affects me, boy, just look out. You might get the blue fire. I'm just saying. So
I tank you just on purpose. So just so you know.
One other thing I want to mention, kind of tied into the Disney Experience app, it had a struggle this year. I think the movie.
Yes.
If Walt Disney World has a big whiteboard somewhere with like goals for 2019, like I hope they do. I hope to God they do. I had that in my classroom every year and I only had to deal with like 30 kids. What do we want to do better in the second half of our school year? Or, once the new year starts, I hope somewhere on that whiteboard, it just says MDE consistency or reliability.
Yes. Fix it. I hope it just says fix it.
I think it does. We got mobile ordering rolling out almost everywhere now. And it's, that's a great convenience. But the thing you got to always say is
the bus times that are on there now too.
But you always got to say when it works, it's great. I just wish that they would, I don't know what it takes, but pay what it takes. You're charging us a lot of money for these vacations. Make that app 99% reliable. It's unacceptable with its reliability in 2018.
No, 100%. I mean, I had times this summer I could not make fast passes, and I still have trouble with it. It will somehow not see my park ticket, and it's in there, and I know it's in there, but it won't see it, and it won't let me. It won't let me make fast passes because it thinks that I don't have a ticket that's valid. And I'm like, no, I definitely have a valid ticket, and it can be. In the same day, I can go in 1 minute and it shows that I have a fast pass. And then I go in the next minute and I try to, play my fast pass game and adjust the times. And then the next second it'll say, nope, you don't have valid admission. And I'm like, no, I do have valid admission. I was just on the app. I just made a fast pass. That is definitely the reliability. I know that I have issues too, where sometimes with PhotoPass, I know that I've taken a picture and it will take days for the pictures to show up, not because of any glitch of PhotoPass, but because the app just isn't seeing the fact that I had pictures taken. It's not registering the day, because the day is not updating as the last day I checked the app or whatever. So yeah, I had major problems with the app this summer, and they have got to get those things worked out, because it is a complete hindrance. And especially for those who are not Disney fanatics like us, who will give them a pass of, okay, yeah, it's just Disney, whatever, the app, it doesn't work, let me log out and then log back in and try it that way. For people who are new to Disney or whatever, something like that, a frustration like that, can impact their enjoyment of the vacation, and then they won't want to go back to Walt Disney World because they're like, I couldn't get anything to work, I couldn't get fast passes because the app wouldn't work or whatever. So by having this app not be the best that it possibly can be, they really are doing it a service to the company overall, because it just makes them look awful.
Yeah, I agree. They're pushing us more and more to the app to get things done.
Yes.
Fast passes for your 80 hours, everything's right there in your hand. But the thing is, and that's fine because it is a convenience, it's saving paper. It's always on. It's available. You got wait times, but you got to make it work. That's just the final thing. It's got to work. So moving into 2019, I hope that's one of their focuses. All right. So
that's one of the resolutions I hope they have. So
let me ask you this too. So in 2018, we got to physically see something come out of the ground, and it's going to impact our vacations for decades to come, which I'm super excited about. It's the gondolas, the skyline.
Yes.
And every time I would go down for a new trip, I would see, the studios now, now we're getting artwork on the stations, and, we've seen test runs of the buckets. We're getting close. So it was really exciting in 2018. If you stayed at, Pop Century or Art of Animation, to see the station out in the middle of Hourglass Lake kind of coming into being, and knowing that, you were there. It's like, it would be like being back in 71 and seeing the monorail beams come out of the ground. That's kind of how I see it. Like, I take lots of pictures because I'll be like, I remember when that wasn't even up yet, so I'm really excited for the gondolas moving forward.
100%. And, for those who maybe haven't been paying attention, the gondolas will not open until, as of right now, they are saying the fall of 2019. So unfortunately, we have a ways to go. And no, they will not have air conditioning. So I know that's obviously still been a question that people have been asking. And no, no air conditioning, but they will have air ventilation, so the air will go through them. So, but that is something that I'm excited about. I think that it's, a fantastic idea. I really do like the idea of the gondolas, and I will be one of the people who's excited to ride it the first time I get the opportunity to, because I think that they are going to be another one of those unique modes of transportation that you can get not only at Disney, but it's not like I have a skyway system all over the town of Atlanta here. So you got to go to, kind of specialty places to have a skyway experience. So, I'm really excited about getting to experience the skyway. And I think it's going to be a fantastic new addition for Walt Disney World once it officially opens.
Agreed. I'm super excited. I mean, I love riding the boats around Walt Disney World. I love riding, even the buses aren't that bad. If you're not on a jam-packed bus, I mean, that's kind of fun. You get to converse with people. The monorail, of course, is a fantastic way to travel. So I love that it fits. It's a fun way to get from point A to point B that becomes part, almost like an attraction in itself. So I'm excited that I got to be there in 2018 to see, the piers go into the ground and, wonder what's to come. 2018 was because that was something you physically see all over property. So I was excited for that. All right. Next thing that we saw in 2018.
Next thing we saw in 2018 was we got a lot of new restaurants at Disney Springs. I know it doesn't feel like it. Like I feel like there's always a new restaurant at Disney Springs lately, and every time I go down, I have a new restaurant to try. But it wasn't at the beginning of the year, didn't we have the opening of like Maria and Enzo's and all that? So because I know we experienced it not long after the new year. But I don't remember if that was that might have been for New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that was 2018, I think. Maria and Enzo's. Maybe not.
Right. We did go there. I know that it was kind of like right there at the tail end. But we did have Wine Bar George, which opened up. We had Wolfgang Puck Bar and Grill, which just opened up. We had Terralina Crafted Italian, which opened up next to Paddlefish. And then we had the surprise opening of Chicken Guy, which has got to still be the dumbest name of a restaurant ever.
Speaking right to my soul with that name, because that's I'm going there.
I haven't been. Well, I might have gone over the Christmas holiday, but as of the time of this recording, I haven't been there yet. But I'm ready to try the different sauces that they have, because they have a ton of them, and it's relatively reasonably priced. All things considered, it still sounds like an interesting restaurant, even though it has a really dumb name. So but I've heard wonderful things about some of the the new restaurants that have actually opened. I've heard fantastic things about Wine Bar George. Matter of fact, I think it was up for a big award with USA Today here at the end of the year last year. I don't know if they've announced that if it's won, but I do know.
Ricky, it did win. I saw. Yeah. It won.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. So that's awesome. And Wolfgang Puck just opened, relatively recently. So, I've heard good things about that too. So I just feel like, and we're going to get more things here in 2019 with Disney Springs too. I mean, you're going to have the City Works, which is, I think, a brewery. You've got that NBA experience thing that they're building, which nobody's excited about. And then you've got the replacement for Cirque du Soleil is supposed to be starting sometime this year too. So there's still some major changes that are happening, and I think the third parking garage is supposed to open this year too. So there's still some major changes that are happening at Disney Springs, and it just feels like when you think that the changes can start to kind of subside a little bit, bam, you get another announcement. So it'll be interesting to see if once 2019 is finished, if that's kind of a cooling off point for Disney Springs, or if they're gonna surprise us with some more new stuff that they've decided they want to put in there. But it's still sort of a winning place. I mean, all things considered, all the new things they keep adding are fantastic.
Yeah, it gets better and better. I mean, of course, the refurbished World of Disney store, which now we have.
Yes, that's true. That's true. It's beautiful. So they did a really great job with that store too. Opened it up, made it a lot easier to find people. Which
lose a kid, man. Oh man.
Did you lose
Yeah.
Mallory in there?
I
Yeah. Yeah.
lost my wife, man. I couldn't find my wife. I would always tell her, if you're going to buy anything, go to jewelry because that's where the most expensive stuff is. Don't go to the plush section. That's where everybody's going to be checking out. Go to jewelry. That was my big.
It's true though. It's true. Absolutely, 100%. Go to the jewelry counter because nobody's there. So,
you know what?
Yeah.
The one thing we didn't get in 2018 that I would have expected that we would have had from a couple years before, when I went down that one time and they did the drone show at Disney Springs at Christmas time.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Like my jaw dropped. I still cannot believe that what I saw that night. I cannot believe that drone show was that cool. I would have thought 2 years later we'd have had that in 2018 somewhere in a theme park or Disney Springs, and it's not to be seen. Maybe it'll be a part. I don't even know if it's going to be a part of anything at Epcot either, but who knows?
I don't know. I know that the drones have been used, because they were owned by Intel. So I know that they've been used in various other facilities. So I know they were used in the Super Bowl that one year. And then something tells me they were used in the Olympics, but I might be wrong about that one. So they have been used, and I guess Intel was just looking for a really good place to test out their technology, and Walt Disney World was a great place to test it because why not? So you're right. I am surprised that we haven't seen anything else from that, but maybe with the new show for Illuminations we'll get something with the drones. Who knows?
I just remember we got back on the bus at that media event. Like it was like
cool.
Like a kindergarten class and Santa just came in. Like it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Every person in there was like tweeting. I mean, the thumbs were like, like there's never going to be fireworks again in 6 months. I said that. I'm like, they're going to replace fireworks with these things. Are so cool. Like it was just the fact that we got it like a one and done.
Right. I know, it's crazy, but at least we got to see it, like that's the thing. At least we actually got to see it. So, that I can say I've seen a drone show in person. That's kind of cool. So we also had the changes at Caribbean Beach. This has been a long time coming. So for those of you who are Caribbean Beach fans and wondering when is it going to be done? Of course it's not going to be completely finished until the summer of 2019, the whole resort. But what they have finished right now is spectacular. I am so very impressed with what they have done. I absolutely love the new check-in desk area, the new the quick service restaurant that they have there with the Centertown Market. They've got a great new shop that has lots of space there for you to buy merchandise, and they've got the bar. Banana Cabana is so fantastic. I am so in love with this bar, even though I don't drink. There's just something about being out there and relaxing and enjoying the ambiance of the area. And then you've got Sebastian's Bistro, which the food there is so fantastic. I very much enjoyed eating there. I think that the feel of the restaurant is kind of upscale in a way, but also homey. It's just really, really nice. I am completely in love with the updates that they've done at Caribbean Beach. And this is a fantastic place. And, I know I've talked about the fact that I'm really worried about what they're doing at Coronado Springs because the artwork that they've showed just doesn't really, show the theming that I know that they're good at. And Caribbean Beach proves that they still can do theming and they can do it and mix it well with, they can make it upscale, but still mix it with the theme of the resort. And so that's kind of why I'm a little perturbed at the, concept art for Caribbean or Coronado Springs. But, I'm still waiting to see what they do. I'm still holding out hope that it'll look okay.
Remember,
but
one of our listeners mentioned a couple weeks ago, Vegas is in the American Southwest.
I guess that's true. Valid point. So, but I hope, Mike, that you get to head over to see Caribbean Beach here soon because it just looks spectacular. So.
I think I've actually, and I'm hearing this in the chat too. Bob even mentioned this, like he's considering staying there because of all the new updates, which I think a lot of folks are. We kind of, in the for the past couple of years in the moderate category, I rank that one as the lowest, just for my personal taste.
Absolutely.
But now it's definitely moving up to the top. And over Marathon Weekend, I'm going to try, I'll probably go to a theme park, catch a bus, on the way back and have a snack or, something over at Caribbean Beach just to walk around and check it out, see what it's like.
100%. And like I said, the if you go to the quick service location, they do things like they did at Be Our Guest, where they have the carts and they bring the food to you, so you don't have to carry it out too, which is super nice. So I think that that's kind of a big deal as well. So I think that that's great. And speaking of restaurant changes, we had just had the change with Artist Point, which changed from being a signature restaurant to a character meal. And I've heard great things about this restaurant as well, the changes that they've made. I wish I could have gone over Christmas, but when the family's in town, you can't always do the things that you want to do. You got to share yourself with the family. I couldn't be selfish and be like, I'm going over to Artist Point for dinner.
I think this one's going to be super popular moving forward. I mean, the thing is, I think the purists who loved Artist Point for the quaint upscale dining that it was are really hurt that it's gone and that they made this, very Disneyfied change. But I think as far as like the target audience of a Disney vacation, Disney's the right move. I mean, financially, and it's gonna fit a really a spot that needed to be hit.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think that giving it the shot in the arm as far as the food is concerned was necessary, because it was not a place that people thought about going, and Disney can't have that, in the current market that they're in. They just can't have a place where people don't think about going. So that's why I think they made the changes to Shutters, which now is Sebastian's Bistro, because they knew they needed that shot in the arm this wasn't working, so we need to make some changes. And then the last thing that I really had for this year, like I said, it wasn't like a huge year of big changes, but we did have some things. The last thing is something someone mentioned in the chat today, so I thought I'd have to bring it up, and that is the fact that Maleficent caught on fire, which was, of course, all over the news this summer about the dragon catching on fire. And it's we wish her well, and and she's missed.
2 weeks back, did you see over Disneyland Paris? Santa got booted off the parade float there. I mean, come on, man. I'm not going near a parade float for Disney right now. They need to get their stuff together. They're either going to get burned or get launched like a toy, off the front of the thing.
I guess, man. I don't know. But that was crazy too. I saw that. But yeah, so I mean, we did lose the Maleficent dragon. Hopefully she's being repaired and will come back just as cool as ever. I hope they still let her breathe fire if she does come back. So but that was a huge thing. I mean, as far as the Disney community is concerned, because everybody, I mean, even like big news outlets were carrying that story of the dragon catching on fire. So I mean, it has been a year of no dragon because of giant fires. So
and I mean, sometimes when I eat Mexican on a Monday night, like I'll belch fire on a Tuesday.
I mean, that's not the same thing, Mike. I'm just saying. So
I mean, come on. Yeah, the thing is, like, that is one of those moments where the soundtrack for the Festival of Fantasy Parade builds to that.
Yes, it does.
Breathes fire. So, I hope it's not one of those things that, folks moving into 2019 and beyond, when the parade comes down Main Street, that they say, well, that was the time. This was the part where Maleficent breathed fire. Like, it was cool. You know what? Right. Nobody hurt. Let's do it again. Let's just be a little bit safer. Just, have some onboard fire extinguishers somewhere.
Yes, I think that safety in 2019 is going to be key as far as Disney is concerned, because the whole deal with all the monorail issues too. I mean, yikes.
Where's that door from? What's that door?
Yeah, why isn't the door opening? I don't know. So I hope that they really take a look at some of the things that they're doing as far as safety is concerned in the monorail, and maybe make some changes to that as well in 2019. Is like, that's my resolution that I'm hoping that they do.
To be fair, the monorail door did fall off my monorail into the Christmas tree this past year, so it happens.
I mean, it happens.
Fell out too, because Goofy was in that car, and I think he fell out too. He was laying next to in the nativity scene under the tree. It was
I didn't know Goofy was a part of the nativity. Oh, that's new.
He was trying to be the fourth wise man or something. I don't even know what was going on. I don't know what his gift was bringing. He was bringing a fast pass. I don't know.
Hey, I'll take that gift.
That's a good place to stop. So yeah, 2018, good year down at Walt Disney World, but obviously 2018 was just kind of the appetizer for 2019, correct?
Absolutely. I think that is the best term for 2018 at Walt Disney World. It was the appetizer year. And 2019 is going to be the entree and dessert. I think I'll go with the entree. And I think 2020 is definitely going to be the dessert, and maybe 2021, because you're going to have all that stuff getting ready for the 50th anniversary. So yeah, 2019 is the entree year, and 2021 is definitely going to be dessert for sure.
2018 is the appetizer. 2019 is the entree. 2020 is the palate cleanser, and then 2021.
There you go. Let's go. I love it. Yes.
I eat a Taco Bell 3 times a week. I don't know what all that stuff means.
Yeah, you don't know what a palate cleanser is.
That's called the swig of your soda. That's what that is. Anyway, well, that's going to do it for today, Ricky. Great show. Thanks for putting that all together for us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's my job to do the news, and I love the fact that I get to write about the news each and every week. So thanks to you guys for enjoying reading it, I guess I should say.
On the social media, what were your highlights of 2018? What you're looking forward to in 2019? Again, we're at Be Our Guest Pod, at Be Our Guest Mike. We've got the Facebook page at facebook.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. All right, don't forget today's show, as always, here on a Friday, brought to you by the great folks at the Magic for Less Travel. So when you're planning that 2019 getaway to a Disney destination, whether it's Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Salem with Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney, even Universal, drop by the magicforless.com, fill out that free no obligation quote form, and I promise you and I are going to have a great time, an amazing time planning that 2019 getaway. So check them out today over at the magicforless.com. And again, keep supporting the show with our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Please bookmark it on all your devices. All right, time to get out of here and let you get on with a great weekend. Relax, lizards. We're going to be down at Marathon Weekend this coming week. I cannot wait to see everybody. So have fun this weekend. Spend some time with friends and family. So for Ricky and Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. But whatever you do, super important, stay safe. Don't slip on any ice. Don't go out and try to break a record this weekend. Don't try to break anything. Just one thing you're going to break is a taco shell in your mouth or something, or a tortilla chip. Just chill. Don't get hurt. We're going to be together next week. So everybody have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you real soon. Good stuff, Ricky. Are you locked up?
No.
Your video's locked up, but I'm glad we got it done in the nick of time.
Oh, that's good, because I'm plugged in and everything, so I watched the thing.
You are so pixelated right now, and your audio's breaking up. How did that happen right at the right time? Now you're gone. And now she's gone. Thanks, Jennifer. Merry Christmas to you too. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, everybody. Roll Tide, Donna. Roll Tide, RTR. Danya. All right. Well, I'm going to get out of here because Ricky just dropped and I'm hungry, and I'm going to edit and get these out there. So you guys have a great, we probably won't see you before Christmas. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Enjoy the time with friends and family. I can't thank you enough for the great year. We'll be back again sometime next week, probably on Tuesday or so. So watch the Facebook. We'll post where to check it out. So you guys have a great, great holiday. I love you guys. Thank you for letting me live my dream. I love doing this podcast. So thank you so much for your support. You guys have a good night.